Welcome everyone. This is Coaching in Session. My name is Michael Rearden and I will be your mindset coach today. And today we're going to be talking about how to connect authentically with yourself. Because in a world full of contradictions to who you should be, who you shouldn't be, we are left at the bypass of which do we choose? Do we choose what the majority of people are talking about, or do we choose what the minority of people are talking about? Do we choose what happy people are talking about, or do we follow what unhappy people are talking about? And we can go down what people want for us. We have talked about it on the podcast before, where people can make the standards and the assumptions and all of the stuff that they want for us. But then we can give ourselves the reality that we're going to live our life according to us. What do you truly want? When is the last time you did the work to figure out your true self, your true expression? Are you a kind soul? Are you someone who wants to see good in the world? Or have you been stuck in survival mode? Have you not been able to see what is past today, what is past this moment? And some people are. Some people are just stuck trying to make it through in their day. This is not to say that they're bad people. This is not to say that they can't make some adjustments to something better. But this is the reality. Many people are trying to live in a false reality of who they are. They will put on some makeup, they'll put on some clothes that is not true to their character because they want to fit in. When is the last time you stood out? And I'm not saying stood out in a bad way, but stood out in a good way. Not that people made fun of you like, oh, you're different. Oh, you look funny. But this is someone I want to follow. This is someone that I would like to emulate. This is someone I can learn from. All of these aspects are right there in front of us. They're there for our taking, but yet many people will be passive and let it slip them by. And today we're going to be talking about this in my most recent blog, a TUS 62 True Expressions. All right, everyone, if you're new to the podcast, new to the channel, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe and share the video and your audio to help build a community of like-minded individuals who are trying to become authentically true to themselves. Today, we're going to be learning about the tune-up series, part 62. If you are new to the podcast, new to the blog, the tune-up series are going to be series that are catered to individuals with strong and healthy mindsets already. However, just because you have a strong, healthy mindset, it does not mean you do not need a tune-up. Think of if you buy a brand new car from the lot. You bought a brand new car last month and maybe you drove, I don't know how many miles it is before the check oil light comes on. It might be like 10,000 miles or something like that, right? The check light comes on. You're like, I just bought this car last month. Well, you drove 10,000 miles. In a sense, even though you have a strong mindset, right? You just did the work to get it. Maybe you got a coach, right? You still need to do the maintenance work. Maybe it could be breath work, meditation, yoga, going to the gym. I mean, it could be many different options, right? You get to choose. But we need to do the work. Even I do the work. Sometimes I find myself kind of spiraling down. And I'm like, oh, I'm about to crash. And I'm like, wait, I'm in control. I'm the pilot. I have the joystick. I have the controls. I have the throttle. Let me stop the nosedive and let me go back to flying where I should be. Flying high, not like high like that, but flying high in the sky to my potential, to our potential. And this is what we want, finding our true expression. Because when we look at mindset, mindset is going to shape how we perceive ourselves. And if we can perceive ourselves as someone that is true, then we can be honest with what we do. Sometimes people, they fall into this victim mentality. They fall into this imposter syndrome. You might have heard about that before. It influences our day-to-day life, our results per se. Because if we don't feel true to ourselves, what are we even pushing for? And that's what happens to many people when they relinquish their power. They're living in their skin. They can say their words. They think they are in control of their thoughts, their feelings, and their actions. But the reality is they're just puppets. And it's not good to be a puppet if you haven't figured that out yet. You get to choose how your mind is. Positive or negative. Abundant or, well, I guess the opposite abundant would be what? Scarce. We need to look at how we can make some changes. And there's going to be things that we can look at Some of the talking points that we're going to be talking about today are going to be confidence. We're going to be talking about articulation. Are you able to clearly say what you want to say? Integrity. Not only just how you can speak, but do your words have impact? Sometimes our words are just kind of like, oh, he said it again, she said it again. There's no meaning. If I say I'm going to run a 5K and I don't run a 5K, I have lost integrity in my words. But if I stay true to my words and I've run the 5K, and heck, I might not do good. It might have taken me maybe 3 hours to finish this 5K. That's a long time. But guess what? I did it. Integrity is not about how well you do it, but if you do it. Some people don't even do it. Some people just make excuses. I'm not making excuses. If I don't do something, I'm going to say my integrity is going to not be tarnished. I'm going to speak true. I'm going to be honest. I didn't do it. But it wasn't because, hey, I'm trying to lie. It wasn't because I couldn't do it. It was probably because I didn't do it. And we have to look at that. The principles that we have to abide by, they have to be resolute. And if they're not resolute, then we're going to find ourselves wishy-washy all in life, wondering why we can't stay attuned to what we're going after. And then we're going to be looking at structure, the simplicity and the sincerity of how, we are trying to be authentic. And then when we're trying to be, genuine, we're going to be looking at active listening, empathy, and then providing feedback. So these are going to be some of the areas and some of the talking points that we're going to be talking about today. I'm not going to get to them all. I already know I'm not going to get to them all. I'm just going to kind of nitpick some of the things that are ringing true to me right now that I would like to speak on the podcast. But then I encourage everyone to check out this blog. The link is going to be right below. You can check it out, read the whole thing. And you know what the great thing about like articles now and blogs, you don't even have to read it. You can just literally have like text to speech read it, like just click a button and the whole thing is read to you. So if you don't like reading and you like audio stuff, you can just even have this read, because I know this is quite a long one. So you do want to instill this information within you. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do it in a different way. We're going to be talking about how your true expressions, connecting authentically in all areas of your life, can happen today. When we're trying to be true to who we want to be, who we are, there is a mindset, like I said early on, that has to be intertwined with this, because we have failed to understand that our expressions can change. All right. Now, I understand some moments you're happy, some moments you're sad, some moments you don't want to talk. There can be that type of mentality. The mentality that I'm presenting today is that if you're angry, for example, do you show it or do you smile? Do you lie to yourself? Do you tell people you're angry? Do you tell people you're upset with them? Or do you just kind of sweep it under the rug? What happens when we do that is we lose a bit of ourself, a bit of our courage, our confidence. When we find ourselves not confident, we tend to do things that are not loving to ourselves. We might do things that harm us in a sense, maybe not physically at the moment, but it can have a long-term detriment to our overall total well-being. That is our body and our mind, people. We are looking at the different aspects of our life in its totality. If we are not confident in our step, for example, what will we do? Will we look down? Will we kind of lie to ourselves saying things are okay? Or would we say that we need some help? Truly and honestly, ask yourself this question. When is the last time you asked for help? Truly, honestly, ask yourself, if you're an adult especially. When's the last time you asked for help? If you're a kid maybe, or your kid asked the last time, right? Like now we're putting it into a different perspective. When's the last time your kid asked you for help? There comes a point when we stop asking for help. And you know when that typically happens? Is when we ask for help and we don't get any help. We don't receive the help. So we say, we're in this fight alone. And we go all solo dolo. But guess what? That's not who we truly are. We are meant to be a community. We're meant to work together. Sometimes that mindset that we give ourselves of being confident in ourselves, it hurts us in the end because we expect everyone else to be able to pull their weight when the reality, some people need some help. This is kind of far off to true expressions, but it is in line with the aspect of confidence and giving people this idea of, if I can do it, you should be able to do it. We need to figure out, if we are confident in our own abilities, are we being told lies? We're not being true to ourselves. Because if we're not being true to ourselves, we're following what some, society or someone else has told us. It is easy for us to fall into this trap. There's nothing wrong with, having standards, but then at the same time, we have to look at the realism of what is possible. I say this because the true expression that we have now is that money matters. Why does money matter so much? Well, money buys us things. It gives us a nice house, right? And things along those lines. But then we have to truly look at what people want. It's not money. Is it a big house? No, it's not a big house. How about a fast car, right? It has to be a fast car, right? No, incorrect again, right? What is it that people truly want? They want to be appreciated. They want to be loved. They want to be seen. Money is irrelevant, but yet it can be a tool to make you feel like you're being more seen, that you are more loved, because people want a piece of it, right? You might be able to bypass it that way, but the reality is it's not a true expression. It's just a facade. It's just a mirage. And we have to be able to see that. We lose a bit of our voice when we allow things to speak for us. My car is going to tell people how wonderful I am. That's why I don't drive luxury cars. I don't want people to assume things about me or expect things. Oh, well, he's in a BMW or he's in a Mercedes Benz. Oh my God, like this guy must be a big deal. I understand the concept behind it. I mean, if you get coaching and you pay for the coaching fee, you'll probably automatically assume like, okay, this guy probably has some warrant to it. But the car I drive is irrelevant. The house I live in is irrelevant. The clothes I wear, they are irrelevant, because I understand that they don't make me. And I would rather have people judge me because they think I'm nothing, because then I can understand their true character, their true expression a lot sooner. Many people don't have good friends in their life because they can't see through it. They think that they're good for them. Yet these people might be the most toxic and most anchor type people in their life, stopping them from reaching true potential. Why? Because we're not able to differentiate who is for us and who is not for us, because we think everyone is for us if they're in our circle. We have to look at our friends are going to be the ones that stab us in the back. One of the questions that people ask, if you have like a friend, a good friend that, or a family member that you trust 100%, don't you ever feel like they would betray you or backstab you, something along those lines? And I mean, this is a common type of thinking because it could happen, right? But at the same time, why are you going to give any, mind to that negativity? It happens so frequently, right? People take advantage of other people. People sell their souls. I was talking to a client. He makes a lot of money. He was going through some issues with some of the people in his circle. And it was a money issue where people were being bought out. Loyalty was being sold. He was saying, I can't believe this is happening to me. I was speaking to him and I said, the reason is, if you surround yourself with people who could be purchased, it's only a matter of time before someone else purchases them. There's a price attuned to it. This is like something guys do sometimes. I don't know if it's like a troll or something, where they will ask a girl, like, hey, would you go out with me for $10? Girl goes, never in my life I will go out with you for $10. And the guy says, understandable, $10 is not a lot. And the guy says, well, how about $1 million? Will you go out for me? Oh, now we're talking. Where are we going? So now we know that someone could be bought for $1 million, right? But then the guy comes in and goes, well, $1 million is kind of far out of reach. I could do 50,000 right now. Are you ready? Did she say yes or no? She might say yes. She'll be like, yeah, 50,000 is cool. And then he goes, okay, cool. Maybe 10, right? Go down a little bit lower. And the only thing he's trying to do is figure out their cost. Because you want to do for 10, you would do it for 1 million, of course. But then we get down 50, do for 10, maybe even 5. Maybe we can even get down to $1,000. Might even be less than that. Are you true to yourself? Are you able to express yourself in a way that is not so much of what, I'm presenting to the world? Because sometimes we lie. We're in our rental cars, we're in our, big houses that we're leasing and stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with, living that dream and getting a taste of the luxury. But at the same time, you get to realize that if you're trying to be sincere in life, you have to first be sincere to yourself. Lying to yourself is not helpful. You're not going to get anywhere. You're going to dig yourself in a deeper hole if you keep doing that. But yet many people, they don't realize it. They just think they're doing the right thing. And then they start to fall into this loop that they're going to be okay, that they're going to be good. And they stop listening to the voices that truly mean good for them. They don't listen. They say, well, you have this negative mindset. You're trying to do this to me, when the reality is, if someone's doing bad and you're trying to stop them, they can't see it because they're living in a false reality. But yet, if we live true to ourselves, we would want people to let us know things, right? We would listen to any advice, even if it's not the best advice. We would feel what they're trying to feel, right? If they're trying to bring something across to us, we would listen wholly and intently. And we would accept the feedback versus I'm going to do what I want to do and I'm going to do it how I want to do. This is not true expression. The reason it's not true expression, even if you think you're doing the right thing, is that many people don't even know what they truly want. Ask a person in life, what do you want? I know guys ask their girls a lot, like, what do you want to eat? And the girl goes, I don't know. I don't know what I want to eat. That's people in life. They don't know what they want. This is not to say that you are going to be that person forever, but many people don't truly know what they want. So when we finally get into the realm of expressing ourselves to be true to ourselves and connect with ourselves, it's just a false type of cover up that we have been falling into from other people, from other situations and scenarios that we have adopted into our life. You might find that if you do something, it works for you. You say, yeah, this works for me. This is nice. I like this. And you want to keep it up. But then at the same time, are you going to maintain it? Are you going to elevate it? Where are we? Many people don't see this. Many people think that who they are is who they are and who they stay. But guess what? Life is not about staying where you are. Think of inflation, for example. If I gave you $100, you have $100. Tomorrow, it might be more, it might not be more, okay? The buying power is lost. In a sense, we have a buying power, not so much like to get materialistic goods, but for our mind. If we can give ourselves the aspect of, I can be better, more mature, more expressed. I can say to people what I want to say at no remorse to anything. I'm not going to allow myself to be sold out. My integrity is going to be divine. Is there. Every day, you're making progress now. Versus days when you say, you know what? I'm going to allow this. Even though I have a structure, even though I have a simple process to do things, I'm going to make it more complicated and I'm going to, just do something a little bit different. And maybe you need the spice in your life. But oftentimes, when you give people an inch, they're going to take a mile. And at some point, you're going to have to put your foot down. And many people, they wait too long to put their foot down. For me, typically, I go by like the 3-strike rule. But then even that is not really true because then I have a line in the sand rule also, where if people cross the line in the sand, I'm immediately telling them. Typically, it's like if they do it once, I'll probably let it slide. If they do it twice, I'm going to let them know. And, from that point, it's not going to happen again. That's just the reality. I'm not going to sacrifice myself because someone else thinks they can cross a certain boundary. That's just the reality with me. Everyone has a synergy that they have to follow. You have to learn how you can live authentically to you, because if you do something that's going against who you are, or maybe, how you feel, and I'm probably sure you might have heard like, oh, I don't want to sell out or something like that, or, I don't want to be a snitch, or, like terminologies like that. It's because they feel like they're going against their character. So we have to find our character, find our values, find our beliefs, and then continue to instill them in our day every single day. So in closing, TUS Part 62, True Expressions Connecting Authentically in All Areas of Your Life, is going to be a wonderful read. I know I did not go, straight through this article because there is going to be a lot of mindset work when it comes to this, but I did want to leave this more so for the individuals who have a strong mindset already, who have been doing the work, who have been following along, listening, tuning in. And this right here is going to be a great resource for you to understand your voice and then reach into that authenticity. And from there, really exploring what is possible with your mindset. All of that is to be said that there is a lot that can be done in order for you to live truly and express yourself truly to who you should be living or who you would like to be living. Because at some point, we are going to be stuck. And we need to figure out how to move. Now, you might not be stuck for long. For me, if I get stuck, I go, wait, I'm stuck. All right, what's wrong? And I fix it very quickly. I can give myself that mindset, that method of working through things. I have not always been that way. All right, in my years of being stuck, I've been stuck for weeks, months. I don't know if years would be accurate, but we learn as we grow how to get unstuck a lot quicker. But this is not something that people readily learn just from life lessons. People fall into the same loop. Think of it as the rat race. You would think if you're working paycheck to paycheck, how do you get out of the paycheck to paycheck type of mentality? What, stop working for paychecks? And it might help. But the reality is you might need that paycheck for a certain amount of time while you're building up something. Most people are just going to continually stay in that cycle versus figuring out how to get out of that cycle. And if you have found yourself in the cycle of not being true to yourself, not being able to express yourself truly to who you would like to be expressed as, reach out to us because we would like to help you step into that mindset, step into that reality. Because when you can be true to yourself, and again, my job is not to present things that you want to hear. My job is to present a truth and a reality that if you want to make some changes in your life, you need to start to get things in order. The consequence is that you're not going to make progress. Most people want progress. Most people don't want to be stagnant. Most people don't want to deteriorate, but then they do, and they wait. But today doesn't have to be that day. You don't have to wait your whole life to be true to yourself. You don't have to wait for the right moment to be accepted. Look in the mirror, accept yourself today, but then begin to make changes. Because we're not looking at what society says that we should accept. We're looking at what we would like to accept. Because if you look in the mirror and in your heart of heart, you can say that you're good to go, then you're good to go. But most of the time, people are going to have insecurities. They're going to have doubts. They're going to have fears. They're going to have disillusioned beliefs. And from there, they're going to find themselves in trouble. They're going to find themselves at a point when they're tired of playing pretend. They're tired of being a people pleaser. They're tired of looking at the fake smiles. They would like to be true. I don't know if you remember, this happened quite a bit ago now, probably like 6 months ago, 7 months ago. I can't remember. It happened with Lizzo. She went to like an awards thing or something to perform or something. And after the performance, she basically said, I'm done pleasing people, or I'm done making music or something along the lines. Like she was done. She said she's done doing something. And this is her opportunity now for her to step into her true expression of who she would like to be. She's tired of, just kind of being pushed and pulled in a direction that she might not be, wanting to go in. This is not to talk about her weight or her career. This is her. She's starting to see what truly matters to her. if, physical fitness is not that, hey, that's on her. That's her choice. Because how they live truly is going to be up to them. Everyone gets to make a choice. You get to make a choice. If you need help making that choice, get a piece of paper, write it down, because you're the only one who can find that truth and that identity. We can start to look at it in the kind of surface level things, or we can get deep down into who we are. And if you can find that deep down person, that true person that you're hiding maybe, or that you're just maybe afraid to show the world because you're concerned about what other people will think, F it. F them. Truly. How you live is yours, your life. You get one of them. Why not live unapologetically to yourself? What tends to happen when you do that is that you create an abundance around you and everyone else begins to prosper. People think in kind of like a reverse type of effect here. They think if they do something that's a selfish thing, the people around them won't benefit. But it has the opposite effect. You make yourself good, and then everyone else becomes good also. It's a ripple effect, people. If you want to make some change, make it today. My name is Michael Rearden. I'm a mindset coach. If you have any questions, email me coachinginsession@gmail.com, and I'll see everyone on the next episode of Coaching in Session. Until then, everyone take care.